has been quite effective, and it adds lots of value to our customers.
It's like drugs. We know we'll get them hooked, so we have to make the first one free.
Yeah. Heroin. Okay.
Become a drug dealer. Highly profitable.
Don't do that. Hey, I'm Tim, and welcome to the next episode of Armchair Quarterbacks. I'm super happy to be joined once again by my lovely co-host,
Richard.
That's
all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. Today, we're going to burn through a couple of topics. The first, as we normally do, we're going to start with most interesting use of AI. And Richard and I were talking before this episode started recording that we're conscious that we have spent a lot of time on AI before getting to our normal topic. We're going to try to get through that quickly this week and see how that goes. It's a very interesting time in America and transparency around reporting. We're currently in the beginning of a government shutdown, which is further impacting reporting. So we're going to try to talk about some of that stuff and what it means and what some of the macroeconomic, I hesitate to call them policies, positions are, and how they affect and how they may affect in the future the U.S. economy and frankly, the global economy. And then the topic du jour today is talking about how you know if your marketing is working or if you're just burning up money. This comes on the heels of last week where we talked about how do you know when it's time to hire your first salesperson. I realize we're working our way backwards a little bit in terms of the lead funnel, but it'll all come together. So that's the plan for today. And your most interesting use of AI for the week?
As always, it's not very interesting. I did use it a bunch. I guess stepping back, I think I did this last time too, which was about how I'm able to improve my humanity with it. Last time it was about making sure I wrote something professionally when I wanted to write something emotionally. And instead of sleeping on it, which was the old behavior, now I can just have someone step in the way. That's someone being ChatGPT. This time is similar.
Sorry, that's interesting language. Someone.
Yeah.
As opposed to something.
Yeah. Well, I'll share that maybe next time, a conversation that I had with ChatGPT. But what I'll talk about this time is I had a conversation with ChatGPT when I was working through a client's tagline. And it's not really a tagline for the market, right? We would want to bring in an actual marketing person or something like that. This was more an investor's tagline, right? What is a trite way of saying what the company is about? I have a 2-sentence structure for doing like the quick elevator pitch. And inevitably, what's fun about that process is it ends up being, those sentences end up being like comma, 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 right? It's like for blah, blah, who, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, we do blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, for the benefit of blah, blah, and blah, right? And it just ends up being, because I don't want to leave anything out. And what I found myself doing was taking what the founder had given me, and I ended up, instead of having a conversation with them, I had a conversation with ChatGPT about it in order to not only try to make it better, but I had it push me so that I was clear about why I didn't like the changes that were being made rather than why I didn't like the changes that were being made, right? So it was like pulling out this piece of the value chain, and it's like, I want that back in. And it's like, but it makes the sentence too long, right? It's like one more thing to add to the sentence. And it's like, well, it really is that important. And it's like, oh, is it really important? Or is that just me? And is that fundamental to, am I thinking more about the benefits that the customer is going to get or the purchase path that the customer is going to go through? I actually it ended up being quite an iterative conversation that
Mm.
went over 90 minutes or so.
Wow. Were you
Where
typing
we
this
went,
whole time, or you
I'm
did voice?
typing, it's answering, I'm reading the answer, then I type my next thing. It's like, but I don't like blah, blah, blah. What about blah, blah, blah? And it's like, well, it's blah, 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 but it's still too blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, what about, right? And so what it helped me do, so again, back to the human piece of it, is this conversation helped me clarify what I thought was important in the tagline. Again, we had the 2 sentences to work with, and I'm trying to bubble it up to a tagline to put literally the first page on the investor deck. That's it, right? The company name, and then some sort of thing that hooks the investors to want to invest, or at least listen more, not invest, but listen more. And so it's important, right? You only have one chance to make a first impression. And so, but instead of having this conversation with a human, because then they're going to want to insinuate what they think is important in this was a process for me to help clarify what I was thinking and why. So it was a form of external thinking with this bot in order to clarify. So now I can go back to the founder and say, here's what I think, and here's why I think it.
Yeah.
Essentially, the process that we had about creating a image for the company and then ask ChatGPT why it came up, why it made the design choices it came up with. This was a process that I could use to help me think of, well, why did I come up with what I came up with, and be able to articulate that really, really carefully, like really, really clearly. So it was 90 minutes of sitting on my couch with my laptop, and it was worth every second.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Have you tried the voice interaction with it?
I have not. I watch you do that on your phone all day, and I have not, because I need to sometimes, like, I'll start writing and it's like, no, not like that, like this. No, not like that, like this. Like, so I'll be editing myself, which again, you can't do with a human. Like if I was talking to the founder and I'm like, well, what about, well, what about, well, what about? It's like some of that thinking I actually have to do in my head before I make the statement. And there's no patience when you're one-on-one, right? You have to say it.
Yeah.
This way I could take like a minute to clarify my thoughts and then ask it and then start the ball rolling on that. It was very helpful for my limited brain.
Can I challenge you on something this week so that next week we can play with it, or you can report back?
I've got next week's thing already queued up. So
dang,
yeah. Well, I thought about it today, and so we'll be doing it tomorrow.
I love it. The thing I'd like to challenge you on is don't. There's 2 things you can do with ChatGPT on your phone. You can just dictate into it, and it'll recognize your words, and then you hit send and it'll respond to that. Or you can set it up to have a conversation, and I'll challenge you to set it up to have a conversation, maybe even like on the way home tonight or something. It is mind-blowing.
No, I've watched you use it, and it is mind-blowing. I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about me.
Yeah, but you can be iterative and
back myself up and be like, I didn't mean to say what I just said. I want to take back and say something
interrupt
different.
It.
Right?
You can. I mean, it's been a very interesting and unexpected experience for me.
Well, I will, like I said, do that on my way home. Start that process.
Give it a run. It's kind of fun. Jackie's actually jealous of it.
You speak to it more than her?
No, but the fact that I speak to it at all is uncomfortable for her because it's not human. I engage with it as a human. It responds close to a human, and she's just not in AI as deeply as I am. I've gotten to where I use it. I used to use it daily. I use it a lot of my day now.
Mm-hmm. They must be losing money on me for sure. Because I'm almost always using deep thinking now too.
Oh, wow. I have a deep thinking limit.
I have not hit that limit for whatever reason. Oh, like when it's making images for me and stuff? it'll make like 5 or 6 in a row and then be like, I had to pause out. I've got a timing limit on what I can do. Just ask me to restart when you want me to. Because I was having it make images for the deck I was building.
Yeah.
And so it was making one per slide. And then first it made recommendations. Then it found free copies of those images, or images
Stock.
that met those, stock images that met those descriptions. But I didn't like any of the stock images, and I was like, just make the images, right? And it did a better job than the stock images that I could find. Now, they're limited, but what's important sometimes is the consistency of the color palette, of the shading, of the what, right? So it's on brand.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you find a bunch of images, it's like, okay, this feels scattered and not, it's so professional when it looks, when it has this, when it meets your brand standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so for whatever reason, I have not hit my thinking limit.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe it's charging me more than I don't know. I probably hit the $200 a month thing.
Well, I don't know.
Isn't that it's free, 20 and 200?
We're on the pro version,
which
I think is the 20 version. And maybe that's a reasonable transition. Did you have a chance to look at the profile I sent you?
No. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So this is a good transition.
Did you say your thing of the week?
This is my thing.
Excellent.
So I've used ChatGPT. I've used AI to build 2 apps from scratch.
Wow.
And when I say I mean us. So my head of development, we have a product called MessageIQ. It allows people to send text messages from HubSpot or from our web app, one-to-one, automated, or bulk. We are not happy with our mobile app, and it's been something we've not been happy with for some time. We haven't had a chance to get to it because we're busy, and finally we wrapped it in this AI initiative that we have at the company. And I challenged my head of development to come up with a mobile app for MessageIQ that he at least began in AI. And we already have the APIs built on the back end, so the functionality's there. We have a web app, so he can point AI at the web app and get the general flow of what needs to happen. He fed in 2 prompts and got 60% of this app done and live.
Wow.
And that, it took a couple hours for it to chew on the prompts and spit this out. He's refining it now, but within 24 hours of effort, he will have a fully on-brand, functional, capable web app built 90% by AI. It looks good. It functions well. It's responsive. Man, it's so much better than what we have already. And he has less than 10 hours into it. So super cool. And if you're a developer listening to this or watching this, get good with AI because it is coming.
Yeah.
We are already seeing lots of layoffs at Microsoft. And it is, I happen to be friends with one of their AI leaders, and they are purposefully focused on eliminating low-level dev jobs and replacing it with AI. And they're making tremendous progress, and they're going to go tier by tier as AI becomes more capable. So I don't know what percentage of their code is currently written by AI, but it is probably a lot, and it's
going to be more later.
A lot more. So that's thing one. The mobile app MessageIQ built by AI. The second thing is I was at a conference.
We'll have to have a discussion on this because I've got some thoughts about this.
Tell me more.
Um, we should probably save this for another time. But like the last time there was a huge productivity swing was when the PC came out. And Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the other one,
Outlook?
email, yes, but email was it was the killer app for the internet. Um, there was four things in Microsoft Suite that like changed productivity forever. So back in the day, a company like Tim's company would have at least one full-time bookkeeper. One of my clients is a retail organization that sells sandwiches. They have 5 locations. They do about $1 million a month, so decent business. Um, those 5 locations would each have a bookkeeper, and there'd probably be a couple more back in the home
Corporate.
office at corporate. They have half a bookkeeper for the whole place. Half a bookkeeper is what I charge them for the whole place, and it's enough. And it's enough because there's not like green shades and 13 column paper like spreadsheets where you literally would be like, now I got like doing the books was a book of paper that you would write the numbers in and then have to accumulate them, and then you could pull them into a balance sheet, and then in half the time your reconciliations are done automatically, your transactions are coded automatically, and you just have to check the work now. It's half a bookkeeper for that big organization. So where did all those bookkeepers go? They found other things to do, right? And there's so much more accounting that's done now than there ever was back when you needed a full-time bookkeeper for each location. Like the questions that are being asked now, the expectations of what the reports will tell you, that like there's so much more going on. So even though you're doing with half a person, the amount of stuff happening is gone through the roof. So that's why it's not down to zero. So it's half. So my point being, like, I can imagine a world where, given the fact that I watched super productivity gains happen in accounting, and what happened is people wanted more accounting,
more reporting, and
right, more reporting, more details, more whatever, and of course, forget the whole regulation side in terms of tax reporting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Imagine what it was like to report sales taxes back in the day. It was not possible in the way it's in the way they're requiring information today. So I'm going to guess that while we're in this period of super efficiencies when it comes to code, that the amount of code that people are going to demand is probably going to go through the roof too. Yeah. So we'll end up back at full employment, the same way we did when the car replaced the horse, the same way we did when the PC replaced the paper. There were people that literally had jobs. There were hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 guys working in New York on bicycles, moving paper between offices.
Yeah.
That was a thing. And now it is not a thing. No one delivers paper anymore, right?
Yeah. Think about the Postal Service, and
they're now working for Amazon.
How the letters have gone. Email crushed all those letters, right? Digital signatures. It's so. I think maybe your Uber point, certainly my Uber point, is AI coming for developer jobs? Yes, absolutely yes. And those jobs will morph into something new and different.
Yeah.
And my educated bet is new and different get really, really good with prompt engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I hear a lot of people that are afraid about the efficiencies and what it's going to do to labor. They're not talking about how demand is going to require more things be delivered.
Yeah.
Right? We put robotics on the shop floor, and now everyone expects more stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going with your story.
I have challenged my development team to 5x their output and improve their code quality by 2 times within the next year. And I can't imagine it's going to take the next year. And that's not because I want to shrink the size of the team. I absolutely don't want to do that. But I do want us to be more productive and to put out more stuff. We have so many things on our roadmap and so many ideas that we can put, 1,000 more things out in the world, and we can try things and see what sticks and then double down on those and grow those. It's a really exciting time.
100%.
Right. So
anyway, you said the second thing.
Second AI thing.
Yep.
I was at a conference a few weeks ago now. HubSpot built their business on this thing called inbound marketing. They blew that up at this conference. They announced something called loop marketing. Loop marketing is a 4-step process that begins with express yourself. That is, identify your brand voice, be thoughtful about that, be thoughtful about what your ICP or ideal customer profile is. Be consistent in the way you communicate with that profile, be strategic in the way that you can communicate with those people, be in the places they are, communicate in the tone and the voice that they can understand and react to, have a perspective on things. So come up with your brand kit that includes your brand voice. So that's the first thing. Step 1, express yourself. So one of the things that, I don't remember if we were sitting here and I came up with it last week, but one of the things that I want to do is create something that's called a lead magnet. That is, put something out in the world that is interesting and useful and valuable for potential consumers of that thing, such that they'll want to give me their name, their email, and in this instance, their company domain name, so that they can use the tool or download the white paper or consume the content, whatever it is. In this case, it's an online tool, and I am not technical, fed everything that I could get my hands on about loop marketing into ChatGPT, including the 4 steps. I created a prompt that described that I want this lead magnet and that I want to create a tool that walks the user of that tool through brand voice discovery, so that they don't have to come up with the stuff on their own. And then they can edit, they can expand, they can pull and push and refine this brand voice. But they have, forgive the term, prompts that will help them through it. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, make me a website that does this. And 5 minutes later, it popped out this code, and I hit copy on that code, and I went to a live code site where I could test code, and I pasted it in, and I hit run. And I'll be damned if I couldn't walk through a multi-step process behind a gate that had these login things that got me to a downloadable resource that was a brand's voice. And I was like, okay, that took a half an hour. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And it was on my brand. It looked good. But I thought, that's still a lot of work for a potential user. And they're still staring at a blank page. That means they're still an author. So it may not be everything that we want it to be. What if I could somehow make it so they had a place to start? So I went back to the prompt, and I was like, hey, here's what I want you to do. I want you to rewrite that code such that someone can put in their full name, their email address, and their company domain name. Then I want you to go out and crawl everything there is to know about that company at their website and come back and fill out that form with a starting point.
Yep. Propose it.
And poof, like 10 minutes later, had the code. Now, I couldn't get it all to run because it's got server code on it. It's got a bunch of front-end code. It's got JSON. So I handed it to one of my developers, and I said,
fix it.
I want this on the website. I want these fields to go into HubSpot automatically. I want you to spend no more than 2 hours getting this thing up and running. If you get to 2 hours, stop and let's reconnect.
Time box it. Yep.
I had maybe an hour. He's got about 90 minutes into it. I expect to see it tomorrow live with the AI backend that's going to do this. The reason I asked you if you got the profile I sent you, it's because I had to look at your website. I had to look at our website.
I don't remember getting this,
and it was good. Like, it wasn't.
When did you send this?
Last week.
Thursday. No, I didn't get it.
It's Thursday or Friday of last week.
I didn't get it.
I will resend it to you. I'd say the one that it did on us was 75%. Now,
that's a great start.
As opposed to a blank sheet of paper?
100%.
You bet.
I can't tell you how many meetings I'm in where I have to write something on the dry erase board, because if there's something on the dry erase board, people will engage. If there's nothing on the dry erase board, they stare at the dry erase board.
Yeah.
So you can write something asinine on there, whatever the subject is. Just write something on and you'll get the juices flowing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll just sit there and be like, That's
a great pro tip.
So it's a great start. What I was thinking when you were talking about building this thing is, like, you've built a consultant. Right? You build a brand consultant who's going to walk you through their process, right? You hire a consultant to come in, and it's not like they're telling you what your brand is. They want to get you to tell them what their brand is, and their right brand. That's exactly what you've done. Literally, you have built a thing that will get you to, through the motions, through the steps, tell it your brand voice so that it can play that back to you. That's a consultant. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten paid to tell people what they already knew.
Yeah. It's super exciting. I'm really, I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be valuable to people.
Yeah. Love it.
And certainly valuable enough to give me their name, their email address, and their company domain.
But if they give you their name, don't you already have their domain generally?
A surprising number of people, their email addresses. So one of the things that happens in sales is if I ask you for, it's richard@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And that is useless to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So
they're not going to put in their company stuff because they're hiding from you.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
No, nobody wants to talk to a sales guy.
In order to get the additional content.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. So super cool. Right. So that's my cool use of AI this week.
You have better cool uses than I do.
I use it all the time.
I use it all the time too, but in limited ways.
Yeah.
I'll have to think more broadly.
Last week we talked about the IntegrateIq avatar that came up, Quinn the Integrator, and I believe I either showed or promised to link somewhere images that ChatGPT came up with for Quinn the Integrator. I was at a retail place over the weekend and I met the actual Quinn. So I was really excited to meet Quinn.
Took a picture of her.
Not the integrator, but it was really fun. So thanks for the AI chat. I appreciate it.
What's next?
I have had a burning interest in your opinion about tariffs and how tariffs.
We're not going to go to advertising.
How tariffs? Well, we're not done. We got things to talk about.
Okay.
So we have had over the last year, since January, tariffs laid down, delayed, taken off, exceptions made, put back on, threatened, delayed. Some have come on. They seem arbitrary to me. I'm interested in your thoughts about the impact of all that on the American economy and the world economy writ large.
Hmm.
And I'm happy to start with my opinion of that.
Okay.
My opinion of that is these tariffs are a drag on the economy in America and more globally for two reasons. The first is I firmly believe that tariffs are a tax on the consumer. While they are currently being positioned as paid for by the manufacturer in a foreign country. That ain't how economy works. While some manufacturers are currently eating some of the tariffs, those ultimately have to be passed through to consumers, and they already have begun to be passed through to consumers. So it is effectively a tax on consumers, which causes a drag. And we are seeing this. So we are a B2B company, a business to business company, and we have seen the impact of this and other economic policies slowing our piece of the economy down. That shows up in three ways for us. The first is decisions are delayed. So generally, we had a 60 to 90 day sales cycle, closer to 60 days. That has been extended now, so it's more 60 to 90 and more on the 90-day side from the beginning of the year. Second is our close rate has reduced. People are making decisions not to move forward with our projects, which are, I would say, modestly sized. We're not talking about generally not talking about $100,000 projects. We're talking about $20,000 projects that people are delaying or just making the decision not to pursue if they don't absolutely have to. So our close rate has gone down. And the third thing is that people are, for the very first time since I've been involved in this company, attempting to negotiate our prices. So our price is our price. We don't negotiate our price. It's kept as low as we can for a reason. And we try to make the sales process very transparent and super clear. And now we're getting people, trying to push back on that, not because we have competitors or there's competitive price pressures, but because they simply can't afford it. So, that's our little microcosm of the world, seeing how tariffs are impacting us. The second leg of that stool is they are not consistent. If you can't count on a tariff that's announced being put in place. So it's random and chaotic, and business leaders don't know what to do with random and chaotic. If there was in fact a tariff, it was put into place, there's say 20% increase, they know how to deal with that. They can plan around it, they can make decisions around it. But if it's 20% today and 45% next week and 0% on Wednesday of next week, they can't deal with that unknown. And the way that shows up for us is just stop. People don't grow, people don't invest, people don't fire. It's just stasis. And I believe that's a result of the chaotic nature that these tariffs have been announced. I think it's bad.
Yeah. I think it's entirely true that uncertainty leads people to be careful and pause and wait for certainty. So the length of your sales cycle increasing completely makes sense to me. The slowdown in decisions completely makes sense to me because it's people's natural reaction to uncertainty is to see if they can wait for greater certainty. Like, is certainty coming right around the corner? and it's just people's natural reaction. The fact that you are losing more to the no decision, it's not that you're losing to competition, is what I heard you say.
Correct.
It's you're losing to the no decision, is, I think, truly an example of that. I would have to believe that tariffs are a part of that. This isn't, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying when I say that there are additional uncertainties in our economy right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
That add to that,
Yes.
exacerbate that.
Yes.
If it was just tariffs, it would probably be more manageable. But given the fact that there are layered uncertainties, I can imagine that makes it even worse. What's happening in taxes and tax enforcement? What's happening to interest rates? What's happening to, right? I mean, like what?
Reporting. One of the things we talked about was quarterly reports, or not quarterly reports. They're every 6 months now for public companies.
And that's not true yet.
I thought
that's been floated, but it's not true yet. I know that in my publicly held client, we're working on the queue right now for September to be released, and by no later than November 15th, as normal. But the point is, it creates uncertainty. So, Edgar, the financial reporting system for public companies, where the system in which all our filings get filed so that investors have access to them. I scrambled, what was it, Sunday night? Monday before midnight. One of my board members is two of my board members are board members on other publicly held companies. So in Edgar Next, the new version of Edgar, I'm boring people now. In the new version of Edgar, you've got to reassociate people. You got to reattach people to your account. I was in there scrambling before midnight on Monday, which I think was the date at which the company could, the country could go into
the
shutdown, right?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if Edgar was going to be there, right?
Yeah.
So, people were left scrambling. Our attorneys were like, well, Richard, you probably want to do this just in case. I'll check in the morning and blah, blah, blah. So there was a bunch of behavior that was happening because of uncertainty. And there was a bunch of behavior that was happening, or that was not happening because of uncertainty. You were on the not happening side. I have examples of behavior that was happening. Both were wasted, right? I mean, if you think about it, both was wasted behavior solely because we weren't sure.
Yeah.
I was scrambling because I wasn't sure. Customers are pausing because they're not sure.
Yeah.
So in that way, I'm 100% with you that the levels of uncertainty we're dealing with in federal policy is leading to behaviors and lack of behaviors that are not productive.
Yeah.
I am not a victim. That's what I tell myself. I am a lot. I'm not a game maker. I'm a game player. So one of my customers, so tariffs are on stuff.
Yep.
They have yet to make the tariffs on non-stuff, on services.
Entertainment? I think movies are being tariffed now.
Tariffs are on kind of stuff. Typically, they're on stuff, right? So my stuff clients, we've talked about how do we mitigate small, new tech, growing company. They're not a game maker. They're a game player. They're not going to influence tariffs. They're going to play that game. So one of my clients, we have offshored manufacturing, formerly done right here in the USA. Now, at least half or more than half is going to be done in Europe.
After tariffs?
After tariffs. Because we sell to Europe and Canada, and we're fully expecting, so a third of the sales happen in the US, a third happen in Canada, and a third happen in Europe. And it's probably the bigger markets are in Europe, secondarily Canada, third US. It's just something that we don't do here. Um, so we're afraid of the counter tariffs.
Yeah.
So we've established manufacturing in Europe to service Canada and the US and potentially Mexico, because half of when we need the stuff here in the US, we don't actually need it in the US, we actually need it in Mexico. So Mexico, Europe, and Canada could have counter tariffs to the US. So we've actually offshored. We've established a relationship with a
Really interesting.
manufacturer to now, interestingly enough, what I've noticed right away is that we all of a sudden, there's a difference in the VAT taxes that are due. Europe's VAT taxes were acting like a tariff on us exporting to them. There was a different tax rate there than if it had been inside the EU.
Huh.
So oddly enough, not only am I mitigating the uncertainty about where tariffs are going to land and whether there's going to be retaliatory tariffs, but also I found that I'm actually mitigating actual current costs that I didn't realize before because I'm just not conversant in the nuances of VAT taxes between countries in a particular vertical, which tax rules don't have to make sense. They just are. And so if you don't know them, then you might not realize that there's an arbitrage opportunity by doing certain activities one way versus another way. So that's one example. Another example is a client that had extruded aluminum made in Vietnam. And this dates actually back before, but it has to do with uncertainty. When COVID first came and all the ports were closed and this, that, and the other, we were getting product from Vietnam, extruded aluminum, which can be made just about anywhere, but we were getting great price product from Vietnam. It was 6-week manufacturing cycle, and then it spent the next 12 weeks either on a boat or in port. Like it took 2 quarters to get essentially high-tech aluminum cans made, right? So we found a company in Texas that's doing it for us, and it just gets put on a train and right, it fills a train cart, put on a train, comes right up. Very little lead time, almost the same price. Like we're paying fractionally more, but it's actually less than the shipping costs and whatnot. And I know when I'm going to get it. The point being, I made the change at that time more about uncertainty of shipment and COVID. And where the office for this client was, you could actually see the docks in the city, right? You could see the port. And so we were pretty sure that our carts were in, right? Our shipping containers were right there. We could probably see them because they were stacked up, but nothing was moving. So it's like, can you let us in and we'll go get it? So the point being, uncertainty changes your behavior, right? When someone, but I wouldn't just shrug your shoulders and be like, that sucks. There's nothing I can do. Go get creative. That's what I would. I don't know how that works in your business, but for them who are directly affected by uncertainties in shipping, uncertainties in labor force, uncertainties in taxes, uncertainties in tariffs, that we just found a different path. Show me a system of measurement and I'll show you behavior. And so I'm just wondering if there is an equivalent that could be like, I don't know how to help you, but I don't like the idea that it is what it is and you'll just have to deal with it. Hate that.
Yeah. So one thing we've done is we were expanding our services. So when I took the company over, we were very narrowly focused, custom system integration only. We expanded that at HubSpot's, I'll say generously request, but almost demand, to include onboarding, training, and consulting services. HubSpot wanted an easy button. So they didn't come to us for consulting, for custom system integration, and then another company for onboarding and a third company for training.
Yeah, one-stop shop.
They wanted a one-stop shop. That means there's one vendor that they have to pitch into their client before that client decides to buy HubSpot. Makes total sense. So we've added that. We've added the HubSpot AI Accelerator. So we're expanding our services. So the other thing that we are looking at doing is going down market. So today, all of our integrations are custom system integrations, pretty high end, very customizable.
But you've got such knowledge now. Maybe you can make something cookie cutter. I get that. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
100%.
So the idea is to go down market a little bit, and then the step after that is to automate that so that people can self-serve for at least a limited set.
Yeah.
So that's how we're dealing with it. And that's probably an 18-month journey, I would think.
And that's increasing your market footprint. Is there anything we can do to help change that economic uncertainty for our customers? Their reaction is to slow down and to push you on price in order to create either the room or the time. The room, either in time or money. Is there anything else?
So it's risk, right? That our customers are seeing, and if we can mitigate that risk, and one way to do that is we connect it or it's free guarantee. So if we get disconnected, and
that's not on you, it's on us.
Yep.
Any way to increase the ROI?
Maybe wrap some of these other services around it. One of the things we're finding is either we'll do an integration and our customers, that unlocks. People have a hard time envisioning what new data streams and combined data streams can mean for their business.
It's hard to think of the ROI ahead of time. 100%.
If we can help them either visualize that in advance, typically not, but if we can help them take advantage of it once they have it, then there's an ongoing consulting opportunity for us. Which has been quite effective, and it adds lots of value to our customers.
It's like drugs. We know we'll get them hooked, so we have to make the first one free.
Heroin. Okay.
Become a drug dealer. Highly profitable.
Don't do that. Don't become a drug dealer.
You guys know sarcasm.
Just say no to drugs. And I'm going to have to take that
drugs
as
are bad.
Our next segue, because marketers do drugs. I don't know.
Advertisers. I used to know people in the advertising world that would stay up all night thinking of monkeys in advertisement and thinking of silly taglines, and they felt drugs helped that. So,
I got to tell you,
the world has changed.
There are a lot of people doing a lot of mushrooms.
Is that the new thing?
I don't know. Ketamine. You listen to Elon Musk and all those guys. Ketamine's the thing. I don't know what that does.
I'm missing out.
Mushrooms is we were in Amsterdam this summer, and mushrooms is a thing apparently.
Anyway,
so let's talk about how you know that your marketing, advertising, or advertising spend is not just burning money, right? There's the old adage, I know 50% of my marketing is useless. I just don't know which 50% that is. So as a QFO, as a CFO, how would you guide?
I'm a different CFO though, so I have weird opinions on this.
Give me.
So if in a world where you want to make sure stuff works, direct marketing ends up being your thing. Where you've got call and response advertising, you got you're measuring clicks, you're paying for leads, you're doing like direct response advertising is something that you can absolutely measure. And when you find and you can A/B constantly, because whatever messages you're putting out, you just start A/Bing them and see what works, and then double down, and then A/B those, and then A/B like it is entirely direct marketing is entirely measurable and is easy to iterate. And I hate it. And why I hate it is because, yes, on the one side, it's entirely measurable. You can iterate, but iteration often is small changes on a pre-existing theme. Direct marketing is call and response on a pre-existing brand. I see too many brands, and I'm glad you talked earlier about having a brand voice and building a consultant to help people build a brand voice, because I honestly think in a world where people are requiring all their advertising dollars to be measurable and the results to be measurable, right? That's really what you're measuring. You can always measure the dollars out. The results to be measurable, that you end up forcing your team into a direct response, and no one's thinking about what does this mean for the brand? How is this brand? Is there brand voice? Because all you're doing is iterating on things you've already established. You're not, by definition, you're not coming out with something new. Yeah. It may be a new tagline that doesn't mean something new when it comes to the brand voice. So I'm very opinionated. I was going to say passionate, but that would be positive. I'm very opinionated when it comes to when having brands think about their brand and spending some resources on merely brand engagement and awareness, as opposed to only thinking about direct response. I want to sell this glass, right? Okay, you can sell this glass very well through direct response, finding out who's looking for it, where do they buy it, how do you deliver that message, what's the call and response, what's the offer, and then get people to engage on it. You know exactly how many clicks are made on which one. You can change the messaging just a little, get people to click just a little bit more, and you'll sell a bunch of glasses. If you want to stand out in the world of glasses, it's not possible in that system.
Right.
So
it's iteration.
Stepping back and say, how are we positioning ourselves differently? Like, what does our glasses mean relative to someone else's glasses? That brand, if you're not spending any dollars because you're only putting dollars into things you can measure, then you're never spending anything on brand, and you're never creating awareness or a true brand voice. And I swear to God, this is one man's opinion, but I swear to God, brands last longer than campaigns.
Oh my God, for sure. Coke. I mean,
brands last longer than campaigns. So if that's true, if you're spending all your dollars on campaigns and none of your dollars on brands, you're going to have something that PE firms love, and PE firms will drive you out of business because they're just trying to scrape every last dollar until you go under.
And they can strip you for parts.
And then they strip you for parts.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that PE mindset in the advertising world.
Yeah.
And all you end up with is direct response.
Yeah.
So that's my opinions.
Right. So so the question was, and I wanted to call this, how do you know if your marketing is working or if you're just burning money? Measurement. I mean, I think that's true. Right, you can measure everything now
in direct response.
Even brand, like you can measure everything.
Yeah, but you have to be creative and you have to be patient on the brand side. Too many people are not creative. I can't tell you how many people think they're great at advertising, and they're not great at advertising. So many people in marketing for consumer brands think they're great at advertising, and they know nothing about advertising.
On the brand side, That's interesting. I, I would say that differently. Like, I think you have to be transparent and true to yourself and stand for something on the brand side. Um, and that doesn't change that much, right? Um, so I, so I guess that's my thinking on brand advertising is you identify who you are and what you mean and who you mean that for,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and then you are true to that, and that's yeah, okay,
And you're making my point for me.
yeah,
In a way. In that you have to have courage to stand that ground
yep,
when the A/B testing is telling you that something actually will sell more glasses
mm.
in the next quarter.
Mm.
Because maybe it's a promotion, but that promotion is against your brand. Like, promotion is good for the short term, but bad for the long term, right? Which happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's. I think we mentioned it last time. There's a concept of Veblen goods. So I forget where the term comes from. Must be named after someone, but it's that value is perceived to have more value based on the cost of the item, right? So theoretically, the scotch is awesome because it's expensive, right? People believe, and actually, you measure their brain, and they believe. It's not just that that's what they tell their friends. No, they honestly believe that that wine is better because it's more expensive. So you cut the price, you might sell more items. It might hurt the brand,
Right.
right? I'm sorry, but Martha Stewart getting connected with Kmart probably was great for Kmart, probably wasn't great for Martha.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
I mean,
It wasn't consistent with their brand.
it wasn't consistent with their brand. So you have to have the courage to make sure that your direct response is in alignment with your brand.
Yeah.
So you have to have courage and have patience in that those things you're going to do is not just for this week's sales, but how about next quarter sales? How about next year's sales, right?
Yeah.
That you're setting up. And that's why I call it the PE effect, because PE firms are like, make me money this week. I'll care about next week.
Next week. Yeah.
And that's direct response advertising.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. That's,
and I know I'm
good.
overstating it, but
it's not just PE, it's public companies live the quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
And that's not right. So one of the things we talked about before this episode was the reporting that is changing from potentially quarter to quarter for public companies. And there's some question as to whether this has actually been put into place yet.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I thought it had already been decreed from above that reporting was going to for public companies was going to shift from quarterly to every 6 months. And look, I believe that is because the economy is going sideways soon, really soon.
That's their way of hiding.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's compounded by Bureau of Labor and Statistics stopping their reporting. There's like all this reporting the public markets and public investors like me need in order to determine how the economy is trending, and that is all being thrown in a shredder right now.
Yeah.
And I believe it's to obfuscate the fact that the economy is going wildly sideways, and they don't want people to see that.
Yeah. Well, I bet, I don't know how this is going to shake out, but I bet one of two things is going to be true at the same time. There are regions like Australia where the reporting is quarterly to a very limited extent, and then really it's only half yearly that you get your financial statements. And then there's places in the world where you get financial statements, but the quality is super questionable, right? You're like, what kind of accounting standards are they following? Well, non-comparable ones. They just report whatever they feel like reporting. So My guess is if the regulations are relaxed, you will get some of that behavior. I would take that as an opportunity to differentiate, as an investment possibility. I would say, guys, we already know how. We already have the mechanisms. We're going to continue to report quarterly. We're going to continue to have high quality standards for our information. And that way, we're going to stand out. And and because of that, we're going to be a preferred choice as an investment decision. So it wouldn't surprise me if absolutely you will see people revert to a lower mean because it's easier, cheaper, faster. Pick 3. You can get it better, faster, cheaper. Pick 2. Yes, you can get it faster and cheaper. It won't be better. And people will know that those companies are the ones that are reporting sloppy. Yeah. And there's a reason why more money comes to U.S. markets rather than other markets where their reporting requirements are sloppy.
Yeah.
And we are dumbing down to them. And I think that's gotta make it an opportunity. So sorry, I'm just looking at the ceiling because it makes me think. In a world where government regulations are lax, there is an opportunity for a market to say, well, actually, we have a higher set of rules, right? So NASDAQ right now, it's not an SEC requirement. NASDAQ right now requires all their companies to at least trade $1. And if you trade under $1 for a certain period of time, you get kicked off the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
If your balance sheet has less than $2.5 million worth of equity,
that's interesting.
Then you have a certain amount of time to fix it, and you get kicked off. These are not SEC regulations. These are regulations where they're like, we only want quality choices on the NASDAQ. And this is the NASDAQ trying to catch up to the New York Stock Exchange, right? There always was the big brother and the also ran. And they were like, how do we make us less than also ran? Like, this is an opportunity for like NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange to say, okay, the SEC can relax their things. We're not relaxing ours.
Differentiate, yeah.
And so then they, as a trading bureau, differentiate themselves to the rest of the world.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
You're absolutely going to have people that revert to the mean, and that should tell you something about them.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people that use this as an opportunity to stand out, and that should tell you something.
Yeah. I have been very pessimistic about what's happening in the U.S. economy. I have been for a little while. And it is true that, isn't it true that it's also creating opportunities. So
100%.
The fact that a NASDAQ or an S&P or somebody might or individual companies might differentiate and not lower themselves to the mean. That's a really good observation. The other idea that I heard was quarterly reporting is a burden, right? It is. It burns a couple $1,000,000 a year for publicly traded companies that have to report quarterly. There was a thought that there may be a new service if we go to semi-annual reporting that would be AI driven, and companies would provide this company's AI access to their books, and this AI company would give them a grade. So if they see fraud, their grade would go down. If they don't see fraud, if they see accurate reporting and accurate bookkeeping, then they would keep a high grade. Sort of like what it makes me think of is the restaurant food
smiley face, frowny face on the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
So while you would have semi-annual reporting, you'd also maybe get even a greater frequency of rating on I don't know what to call it, your book cleanliness, lack of fraud. from a third party.
Yeah, I would believe that because of the cost, that people would change how, if they don't have to report quarterly, that people are going to change their report. They're not going to do a full, right? Because no one, honest to God, read your average 10Q that's out there. It's 40 some pages long and includes an MD&A, includes an investment piece up front. It includes a bunch of information about board comp and insurance level. Like, it includes a bunch of information that, not really insurance levels, but you know what I mean. It includes information that most people don't read. And so compliance with that regulation ends up being expensive with very little value, except when things go wrong. Imagine a world where those things aren't required quarterly, but you have the opportunity to enhance your reporting, to stand out, to be a preferred investment choice. So what is it that the market wants to know? That's what I'm going to tell them. And I'm going to tell it in a way that I'm going to get, instead of my auditors checking as to whether my related party transactions were reported accurately, when in fact, it's reporting that the CEO spent $500 on a gift for someone else. Like, honest to God, some of the reporting is asinine, but required. Imagine taking the money doing that and telling the market something the market really wants to know, and using your auditors to verify the important information, not adherence to regulation.
Yeah. It's a half a report.
That's only half a person.
Lovely. That's a great place.
That is actually an opportunity for auditors. Like, if auditors are thinking right now, oh dear God, what do we do with the fact that companies don't report quarterly? They should be going to all their clients saying, you know what your market cares about? They care about the number of eyeballs you got, whatever clicks you got, engagement on your software, right? Things that actually you don't have to report now, right? So software engagement on what's one of your product thing? Oh, the thing that you just rewrote.
MessageIq.
Yeah. So how many messages are delivered on MessageIq, and what's the engagement level with the number of customers on that? Yeah. How about, instead of just reporting financial information and what Tim spends on shoes each year, which I don't know what that is, and I don't care and no one cares what that is. That's my point, is you actually report something that people do care about, and those are verified by a third party. You were thinking that third party could be AI, It could be human. I don't care. I just want there to be an independent third party verification of a number that matters to me as an investor. Yeah. This is an opportunity to do that and spend no more money. In fact, spend less money reporting what matters.
Shit, man. We need to go see if there's audit.ai, if it exists.
If it exists, don't take it.
Yeah, we can't tell you.
Don't take it.
That's a good idea.
And match it with the whole board member idea.
That's a good. Oh man! All right.
So you got a board member that's reporting accurately and an auditor that's making sure it's right.
Yeah. So good. And doing it in a timely manner, right? So monthly, or if it's AI, it could be all the freaking time. Think about the Facebooks, the Googles, right? How quickly those things change. It doesn't have to be monthly. I don't see why it would.
And it still could be cheaper.
Yeah.
And you're giving numbers that matter on a real-time basis.
Yeah. Yeah. All these companies have real-time dashboards up everywhere in there.
They have it internally. Why are they only reporting once a quarter? Yeah. Like, the system is already broken.
Yeah.
And so the fact that someone's breaking it more, I don't care. But it might be an opportunity to make it better.
I care insofar as I don't have visibility to make decisions that I might need to make. And I'm thinking now as an investor, right? I want to know that you, Facebook, are how you're trending quarter on quarter. So I can look, I think personally in terms of trends. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to see, are you gaining momentum? Are you losing momentum? Are you gaining engagement or losing it?
This is important. So in that, what does that mean? Pick a company of your choice and say, are you gaining momentum? Are you losing momentum? Tell me the metrics that you're looking at that you used to receive quarterly that you're worried about losing.
Yeah, well, it's not shoe purchases and
No.
it's not insurance.
No.
It's things like, monthly active users.
Okay.
It's advertising dollars.
Okay.
Or advertising investment. CAC, so customer acquisition costs.
Okay.
Are they going up or
and
going
you
down?
Calculating CAC or are they calculating CAC?
It's all reported. I don't calculate anything.
Okay. The expenses in sales and marketing, not necessarily CAC, you would have to do that division for yourself and know a piece of non-reported information is not reported to you in their quarterly information.
Someone's doing that because I see it all the time.
I get that, but that's not part of the regulation that's changing.
Okay.
That was voluntary information they were doing anyway.
Okay.
The first thing you said, the second thing you said was, in fact, part of what's going to be in the queue. The first part of what you said was monthly active users or something like that.
Yep.
That's not part of the queue. That's not audited. So
it's revenue, it's costs, it's that stuff.
Revenues would have been in there. Costs would have been in there.
Yeah.
Costs by category would have been in there. You would have had to do your own division to be like, oh, sales and marketing costs divided by the number of new whatevers. That's their CAC, right? That is not in there. The number of new whatevers, not audited.
The foundational data to do that, though, is, and while I'm not getting a calculator out and doing it, somebody is, and I'm consuming that.
And I'm saying that half of those reported numbers are not part of what's changing. We're voluntary anyway. We're never part of the system that's changing. Those were numbers that were given that are not audited and could already be fraudulent.
So at least some of those numbers, monthly active users, not. But CAC, and it's just the example we've been using, is calculated based on audited, reported, regulated information, right?
Half of it is.
It's just that someone's taking that and getting their calculator and doing it.
The sales and marketing expenses, as reported, is going to be essentially audited on a quarterly basis, reviewed, but good numbers.
Yep.
The number of new users that's being divided in that to give you a CAC is not audited. That could be made up.
Yep.
And so therefore the number could be made up.
Yep.
So I'm saying you actually could increase quality under this situation where half your numbers are already non-audited, but you think they are.
Okay.
And so now we're just being honest to saying the numbers that you care about, half of them are really not audited, required, not verified anyway.
Do you believe that there needs to be a standard system of reports?
I think there needs to be either incentives to report the numbers that investors care about accurately, or a system of checks to ensure that you are reporting those numbers accurately. Right now, there are regulations that say you really shouldn't report numbers that are knowingly inaccurate.
Yep.
But they're not part of the quarterly reporting requirements. They're voluntarily reported.
Yeah.
Which means people will continue to voluntarily report them.
Yeah.
No matter if the regulations change.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Okay. All right, we need to land this plane.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a little, I guess we circled back on a topic is how I would say this. The core topic here tonight was, how do you know whether you're throwing good money after bad for marketing? It's in the metrics, is what I would say, right? Think about the sales process in its simplest terms. It's a funnel. If you talk to HubSpot now, it's not a funnel, it's a loop. It's an infinity symbol.
Oh, they do this.
Yeah.
There's also the purchase path. There's also, I prefer the old fashioned funnel.
We're old. That's why we
It's simple.
It's what I grew up with.
Yeah, but it's simple too. Yeah. And simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
And I think about when I think about businesses and sales and marketing, I think about them in terms of the customer journey, discovery, credibility, qualifying, closing, onboarding, like that. So anyway, that was the main topic tonight, is how to know. Yep. If you're spending good money, if you're marketing, if there's an ROI on your marketing.
Yeah. If I can add one piece to that to show kind of why my brain is why it is about this. When I worked at the advertising agency, I worked at a couple for about a decade because I wanted to understand a few things, which we'll go through at another time. We would pitch every few months. Someone at Amazon would say, "Come and pitch us for blank." Amazon less so now, but at that time, Amazon believed, it was part of their mantra, it was part of Bezos' mantra, that only bad products need advertising support.
Product-led marketing.
So I can't tell you how many times we were in the room providing them with some awesome idea, some fundamental human truth about that's going to drive whatever. And the client on the other side, there'd be a couple of them, they would look at each other and be like, let's just offer free shipping instead. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about when you hear me talk about direct response or whatever versus advertising.
Yeah.
Right? Or versus marketing spend. How do you measure your marketing spend? It's like, if you're really in competition with free shipping, there's something different going on. And as you can see in every shareholder letter in the front of their annual report that Bezos did from the first time they went public in 1998, the first letter he did in 1998 to today, that you will see it constantly talk about customers and their expectations and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There is a very clear brand voice that then shipping makes sense in. Like losing the shipping makes sense in that.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't have that level of clarity, then you're just some schmuck doing something on Amazon trying to buy keywords, which in today's world is weird. And you know what I mean? It's like you're just direct marketing. It's another form of putting a flyer in someone's mailbox. It is spam. Spam is direct marketing.
I think you just made a pitch for the IntegrateIq Loop Marketing Mentor.
Yeah, you should check out the Loop Marketing Mentor.
Coming soon.
Did you check it now?
loopmarketingmentor.integrateIq.com.
Did you check it?
It's good.
How about now?
All right. Okay. Once you use loopmarketingmentor.integrateIq.com, and marketing starts clicking and you're starting to see sales. Now it's time to scale. The next thing you need to do is start thinking about raising money. So next time,
ooh, my world,
we're going to talk to Impact Solutions about fundraising.
Yeah.
Lots
of opinions there.
Find us next week. Thanks.